Now let's take a look at an art book. Oh, we like that. We like this segment, looking at art books. This was quite a surprise art book. It was a Christmas gift. I believe it was one of those like, oh, comic art. Ewan does something with comic art. I'll get him that book of comic art. Turns out this is actually a really fucking good book by a really fucking good artist. So it's a surprise, like originally just like whatever, but actually a really fucking good gift of a book. MARVELOCITY, the Marvel Comics art of Alex Ross. Alex Ross paints shit like this. It's all hand painted, which is great. Very, very different to how I paint with, you know, the 2000 AD Bisley, Fabry, whatever style. I believe it's largely watercolours. It looks like acrylics and stuff as well. It's got a fucking big, fancy pull-out cover. Shit all over it. Look at that! Doom! That's relevant. Ah, cool. Cool. And the beans. But of course we do prefer... Oh, see! Okay, that's you know... Frankly, Captain America is boring as fuck. Never, ever, ever, ever had any fucking interest. Even the smallest amount. It's pretty neat. In Captain America. So, cool enough cover. But, fucking look at that shit, man. Hulk. That's good. Chinese Hulk? I don't know. It's fucking good, man. Good grief. That's the book. Cool. I'll try to keep it in frame because it is very good. Now, looking through here previously, as I had, there's a bunch of Hulk paintings in here, so I might focus on those. That's quite funny. A Hulk mask made out of a paper bag when he was a kid, and that sculpture, he might have sculpted it himself. Designed by Alex and sculpted by somebody else. Okay. Well, that's cool. We won't poo-poo him for that. It's the guy in his studio doing his thing. Yeah, lots of like photo-referenced, sort of photorealistic paintings of Marvel characters, which is, it goes very well with, there was a series he did the artwork for. There we go. Hulk. He paints the Hulk so well. Like, obviously, he paints people well. He can paint really well. He does really good with the human figure. But his Hulk pieces just have... They got so much life to them. Man, I love his Hulk paintings. I might scan in all the Hulk pages and make like a little collage. Because they're really fucking good. Because that's really fucking good. Especially because you can only photo reference it so much until you have to start making bits up. So he's fucking good. Good on that. Good one. Good. Yeah, he did a series. Did the artwork for a series called Marvels, I think. Which was... I haven't read it. Oh, good. Okay, that's super nice. That is. That's funny. This is almost why I wish I'd kept some of my old shitty childhood artwork, just so I could do this. To go, look at that fucking stupid hand. Kids can't draw for shit. They're fucking stupid and worthless. But then, you see, this is what he's doing now, or more recently, compared to then. It's like, oh, okay, somebody grew and developed as they got older, did they? Well, look at the hairy knuckles and shit. Fucking good, man. Oh, love it. Love. Obviously, I love the Hulk anyway, because I'm a fucking shit. But his Hulk specifically is really, really quite good. Handmade toys. It is cool to see as well. Being like, if you do art shit as a kid, you do this shit all the time. You make your own toys and shit. So that's really cool to see. But knowing that he went from that to doing stuff like this, that's fucking banging. Submariner. I guess that makes sense. It's Fantastic Four. It's Fantastic Four. Submariner. He's got a real name, but I don't fucking know what it is. Look how thick this book is. I could spend ages looking through it, but I'll focus on like the Hulk and stuff. But there is the series called Marvels, Marvels. They did the Alex changed things. There you go. Did the artwork for a series called Marvels, which was very, very based in reality. It wasn't like this fantastic world full of superheroes and villains and all kinds of shit. It was grounded in reality, and especially in terms of the Fantastic Four. I've not read them, so I could be completely talking out my arsehole. It's like people are scared of these heroes. There you go. There's the Human Torch, and everyone's fucking scared because they're like, what the fuck is going on? And that's what that series had. It was very grounded in reality. And his artwork really, really fucking nailed that look, because his artwork is from photos like this, where he manipulates the photos to get that like inverted on fire look. Some reference from Dave McKean from Terminator. That's the final piece that was used. It's so fucking good. References. See, he sets toys on fire, takes pictures to draw them, which is I love and have a huge amount of respect for using photo references to that degree, because it does give your artwork like a real quality, like a realistic quality. But I'm also a lazy fart and a sod and a shithole and a poo bag and an ass brain and a snot-eating little fucking slug shit. So I don't do it. And I quite like having some reference, but mostly have it made up so it looks more sort of fantastical and cartoonish, which I think is where my artwork leans into like cartooning more as it does realistic, artistic depictions of actual human forms and such. He made this fucking Galactus helmet, put it on his friend, took some pictures, which is really, 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 really cool. That's really fucking cool. But, so this is the artwork that came out of it. It's a little bit too realistic for me. Like when I think of Galactus, I think big person, but he should look more sort of alien and otherworldly, almost more cartoonish. Because the idea of him is silly. A giant man in the sky, like God, which is, silly in itself, that eats planets. He should look crazy and otherworldly. I don't necessarily capture him that well if I paint him. But in certain, like Kirby, for instance, Kirby draws Galactus in such a way that he looks like this weird otherworldly thing, whereas this looks like a person in a costume, which I'm a bit like, meh about. The artwork is incredible. It's really well painted, but it's just, does it fit everything? And I think the Marvel's stories, see, that's like a weird mutant girl, for X-Men, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and whatever else was in that series, his artwork works really well for those because they are very sort of grounded superheroes. They have, and I guess Captain America was the other one. They are, realistic sort of heroes, so having a realistic style, putting them in a realistic setting really works for that sort of shit. Yeah. Anyway, let's find some more Hulk. Oh, these are quite cool. Old Kirby covers, and he does his own versions of them. That's pretty neat. Old Captain America hitting Hitler. We can appreciate that, especially in the current times. And there's his painted version. That's fucking cool. We dig that shit. Hulk. Obviously Avengers, cool, whatever. But Hulk, look at that shit, man. So you've got Iron Man being Iron Man in his old weird fucking iron kettle armour. But then you got Alex Ross painting it. Fucking look at it. That's insane. That chrome look. That's like, it's a fun, interesting and difficult challenge of a thing to paint anyway. I've tried it a few times here and there. Occasionally I can just about get it to work, but in general it's really fucking hard to do because you're not painting a colour, you're painting a reflection of everything around it onto it. So you've got to paint a reflection of this guy in here, plus the sky sort of bending around it behind him, the ground underneath him, fitting the forms with glare and shit. It's not just paint chrome colours, because there is no chrome colour, because chrome is the colour of whatever is reflected in the chrome. But also the fucking Hulk, so that's cool too. Ant-Man riding some flying ants, the Wasp, Thor, cool, but the Hulk, we love the Hulk, we love the Hulk is very good. More, I like that. That's like what I did with the Operation Doomsday album cover. Take the album cover, that's cool. Here's my version of it. Obviously, this isn't that, but this is something like that. Yay, Hulk! Sculpted by Alex, so he did actually sculpt this. He modified a doll for modelling reference. So he obviously modified a doll of the Hulk that he could use as reference for drawings, because then, as I've said, a lot of artists do that. Ron English is one who comes to mind immediately for building sculptures of his characters and stuff, setting them up, making sets for them, lighting them all crazily, and then painting what he sees. So give different lighting to this model, then that gives a lot more sort of feeling and realism to your paintings. And that's fucking cool too. I assume that's just like a colour test or something on a piece of paper, because it's just like old paper in the background. But really fucking neato burrito painting of the Hulk. Spider-Man's cool, I guess. I do like him, but you know, whatever. That's cool. Classic, very like the first introduction of Spider-Man, and sort of a modern, updated version of it. And I like that it looks like a guy in a suit, which is what. See, in terms of Spider-Man, I like guy in a suit because it literally is a guy in a suit running around, jumping on buildings and shit. Someone like Galactus shouldn't look like a guy in a suit. It should look like a fucking intergalactic, powerful being that eats planets. Something like Spider-Man should absolutely look like a guy in a suit. I remember watching. I saw it in the 90s. I think it might have been a 70s or 80s TV show of Spider-Man that I saw on the television. My dad was around, so I don't know how young I was. That's a lot of Spider-Mans. Cool. And that show, you know, they didn't really have special effects, but they used camera trickery and stuff to have Spider-Man climbing up buildings and shit. And that blew my mind watching that as a kid. Like, this looked fucking insane. But I always remembered noticing it was a guy in a costume. It wasn't some alien, it wasn't CGI. It was a guy in costume doing crazy shit. And you're seeing crazy shit happen, but ultimately it's guy in costume. So to be able to depict guy in costume like he did here, this absolutely looks like a guy in the old Spider-Man costume doing this shit. Obviously, he would have used photo reference and stuff. So that's perfectly reasonable that he would come to that, you know, finished piece. But it's so easy to paint Spider-Man as just like weird naked body that's painted blue with red and spiderwebs on it. But to actually make it look like guy in costume doing things is a bit of a tricky one. Especially with, you know, the more modern, I think like from Todd McFarlane onwards, where he took Spider-Man and put him in all these crazy, unrealistic positions with his legs and arms bent every which way. That took Spider-Man to another level of being almost more like a creature than a man in a costume. Whereas, you know, he's supposed to be a man in... But fuck that, look at this! Fucking look at that! Is that in shot? Cool. Fucking... Like an 8... I don't know if this is from a story that was published or printed. I don't know because I don't pay attention to shit. If it was, cool. But look, so that's like a little banner, and then the Hulk is this weird ape thing. Look, just look at it, man. It's so well drawn. And there's like a model he had made and a drawing for the model. Oh, it's so good. The shading and shit, man, and the veins and like a gorilla Hulk. We do like that. We do like that. Oh, it's more Spider-Man. Great. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see if there's any more Hulk in here, because, you know, I want to spend all night. I mean, I could spend all night looking through this book. The artwork is very, 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 very good. Like I say, it's all hand painted, and it absolutely has an energy to it that, you know, digital art does not have the to it that this stuff does. Cool, cool, cool. I like that it does show in this book his props that he obviously uses to paint. I assume he buys them, makes them, whatever. Designs or studies, rather. That's cool. Very, very cool. Yay! The Hulk. I have one thing to say, no three. Kirby, Kirby, Kirby. The massive physicality that we identify with the Hulk and the Thing is all because of Jack. You need his hand to make that work. That's true. Jack Kirby made the Hulk like this big bulky thing as opposed to Green Man. And Alex Ross does it justice, absolutely. Whoa. And it's not remotely. I joke being like, haha, Daddy Hulk. I don't find him remotely sexually attractive. Like, I'm not past finding alien or weird green people of male or female or otherwise attractive. I'll find cartoon people attractive, cartoon creatures, but I don't find the Hulk attractive. It doesn't do it for me sexually. It's not. I'm into some weird shit. Not the Hulk. I just like the character. I like I like drawing him. I like him as a thing, as a design, as a thing that has been designed and created. I like him for that aspect. And I like the character and the idea about him. But as I have stated, the lighting in that man, the red underlighting and the green. Yeah, I have said before how I'm not a fan of the Hulk comics in general because there's very few stories I've read of the Hulk that I'm interested in. But I like the Hulk as a thing as opposed to, you know, all the story, which is the same with Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man and the idea of Spider-Man, but you get through, you know, 2 or 3 of the stories and they just start getting like, ugh, this shit again. That's really cool. I love the red. That's cool. The screamy face. The inverted face there. We like inverted paintings. That's fucking good. That's really, really nice. Really solid feeling. Oh, Captain America. Hooray for bloody Captain America. Oh, isn't he the most interesting bloody hero of all bloody time? Let's devote pages and pages to that shit. Thor. Marvel Thor fucking stinks. When you think about what Thor is and where Thor comes from, like in terms of mythology and stuff, the Marvel Thor is fucking stupid and rubbish and boring and fat and gay. I hate him and I want it to stop and go away. And I never want to see him again. Hulk. That's what I'm doing now. Just pointing out the Hulk where I see him. X-Men. Kind of cool here and there. Wolverine versus Hulk, that's pretty neat. I mean, that's cool. We like that. This is a really difficult area to draw and paint. The shoulders going into the arms and shit. That's really nicely done. A lot of white on there. It's quite a dangerous, almost scary thing to use that much white. But when you know what you're doing, you can put huge amounts of white on to really, really great effect. A redesign of the costumes. Whatever. The Thing's cool. I think again, I like him as a design piece as opposed to a character, but whatevs. I guess that's all colour studies. Really, really nice ones. Really do like the colours. Oh, excuse me. To Doom. Classic villain. And a bunch of shit of him doing pictures that turn into paintings, which is cool. It's cool to see that. And painting the piece with the thing. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, if you're into that, whatever. Oh, look, it folds out. Wow, that's cool. Oh, I think that's him. He redid, like, this comic strip, but in his style. Which is cool. Again, I like doing that. Redoing older shit in my style. Spider-Man fighting in Sin 6. And that's the book. Hope you enjoyed it. Oh, look, it's the Hulk.